Hey guys, it's Nate, aka TheFutAccountant. Welcome back to the channel. Today we had the very first day of FUTmas. We had SBCs, we had the Josef Martinez finally put into the game with the weekly objective, and I want to talk to you guys about what we saw today from these SBCs that came out, and the icon SBCs as well, and how we can make coins off of those in the future in multiple ways. And that is investing for requirements for future SBCs, because we are getting SBCs like this. We're getting 3 new players every single day, so these are only up for 15 more hours when I'm recording this. I did complete the Torreira card that is in my club. I'll show you guys that here right now, because it is a very good looking card. And as you're going to see today, a lot of people I think did this SBC because there were some other goods that definitely dropped today, and a lot of SBC requirements for this card that went up. 4-star skill moves, 3-star weak foot, medium high. He is short at 5'6", but people are saying he is incredible in game, and he has some stupid awesome stats. So if you're watching this video, he's still available to you. Definitely do him if he is out and available. He only costs about 25,000 coins to do, and I did it with players entirely from the club. So that was very worth it. Good looking card and a fun way to start off FUTmas. But I want to talk about a few things. We're going to head over to FUTbin here first. And the first thing that I want to talk about is substitute goods. You know, you probably heard this a lot. Like Torreira doing this SBC, who does he replace in people's teams inside of FIFA Ultimate Team? And this is one man who he must have replaced today, because look at this price for Fabinho. He is 37k on the Xbox, 44k on the PS. If we look at the hourly graph of today, Fabinho was down into FUTmas. Obviously it makes sense. Thursday he rose up a little bit in rewards, but not too much. And then yesterday, with the leading up to FUTmas, he dropped down a little bit, and then boom, once the SBC came out, he dropped down to 37k in a flash. Now it's obvious to tell that somebody like Torreira kind of, it's a new card, it's fresh into the game, and whether he is better than Fabinho or not, we're going to find out very soon. But it looks like a lot of people sold Fabinho today and then put Torreira in the team. So that's something that's very interesting that we need to watch for continuing throughout FUTmas. Let's say we get another card like, you know, a center mid from the Bundesliga, and does that make somebody like a Goretzka special card drop, or does it actually make it rise, since there aren't a ton of really good midfielders in the Bundesliga that come to mind off the top of my head. But besides the point, that's something that we need to watch for. It's kind of like the whole situation with Player of the Month Sterling being on the left side, that really affected the other left wings, left mids in the Premier League. Their prices this past week, as William had a big drop on Wednesday and Thursday when that card, the Sterling card that is, came out. So that's something that we need to watch for when we're looking at future cards that will come out as FUTmas SBCs that are very usable. And that's one of the key things. They have to be pretty usable, because like this Papu Gomez card, yeah, I'm sure people are doing this SBC because people like his card. He's probably pretty good at the game, but he's not anything meta like somebody who Torreira could be. He's Arsenal. He should have had an inform last week. People thought he was going to get the FUTmas card, so that was a very good situation to be a part of. Zaha, this card, it does look good, but if they would have boosted the shot and the passing a little bit more, I think it would be more desirable. I'm not too sure how many people are doing that, but he was very good in the beginning of Ultimate Team, so that's something interesting to look at. But heading into the next couple of days, we don't really know who's going to be coming up next. We haven't really been able to find a pattern yet. There's a lot of theories going around about how they chose these players. Obviously Torreira is number 11, so people are thinking that number 10, somebody who wears number 10 could be coming out. And you know, Rashford wears 10 and he didn't get an inform this week, so a lot of people are thinking that it could be a Rashford card coming out today when this video goes live. That's just a projection though. I'm not going to really invest for that card. I'm going to invest in what I know, and that is we're going to be getting more players. So how do I invest for that? And I want to look at a few things here in just a minute, but I want to talk about another thing. Like we have substitute goods, you know, like the Fabinho dropped because of the Torreira coming out, we also have link investments that go up because of a link to an SBC player that is popular. So I'm going to show you two versions of Socrates today. And this Socrates Europa League card, it went up a lot on Xbox. It didn't go up as much on PS4. I think that's just because on Xbox there's a lot less supply, and PS4 has so many different users. It still went up on PS4, but it only went up about 5 to 8K, and on Xbox it went up a lot from its lowest point. So if we look at Socrates, he hit his lowest point of 34,950 right here. He went up to 49K within the next hour, and is now actually at 53,000 coins. And that is a link that probably people wouldn't have been able to use before in this game, so it's new, it's fresh, and these are both very new cards. The Socrates came out last week with Team of the Group Stage, so that was kind of a hype, you know, a link investment that worked out. It's a great green link, and those two cards are going to link together. You could play Torreira at center mid, link him to a center back, and yeah, so link investments are something that are very investable in as well. So let's say tomorrow we get a Rashford. Who are you going to link him to? Well, you're probably going to look at this Lingard card first, the Road to the Final Jesse Lingard. If the Rashford card is a striker, that's going to make things a lot more interesting. At the left wing, he's still, you know, linkable to a lot of different areas, but as a striker, you can obviously move him from center mid to striker. So a lot of people, there could be a lot of link investments with that. But primarily, I mean, maybe a striker, Lukaku, you know, Lingard, other Manchester United players, Pogba, you know, could be something like that, although he's in packs. And when you're looking at these investments for link investments, you want to look at special cards that are out of packs, because those will rise the most. Obviously, people like special cards. They like the dynamic images, they like the boosted stats, and those cards aren't actually in packs, so they don't have as much supply. I think Lukaku is up a little bit. I think people are already starting to assume that Rashford might be the player tomorrow. Yeah, Lukaku is up a good bit on Xbox. He's a little over 200K. Let's check and see what his price was Thursday. He went down to 189. Yesterday he dipped down to 175, and he's already up to 200K. So there is some definite speculation on Lukaku getting, or excuse me, on Rashford getting one of these cards. But that's just something to watch. Let's say maybe tomorrow that Rashford doesn't come out as the number 10, or they do a completely different pattern with these FUTmas cards, and this Lukaku drops to like 170 again or lower. There's a good chance that we'll get a different Man United player during this promo, a FUTmas SBC for a Manchester United player. Just because that's one of the most popular teams in a popular league, the most popular league in the world, and it's going to go up at some point for a link investment. That's another thing I want to talk about. I mentioned that in another video, but they always use the most popular teams and the most popular leagues to make these SBCs. So yes, we had a Serie A today, we had a Premier League, we had two Premier Leagues today, two Premier Leagues and one Serie A. And as we talk about some goals to invest in that are kind of still low, I'm looking at possibly today we could get a Bundesliga and a La Liga. I think those are, you know, they haven't been used yet, and they always flip around the leagues kind of to help with the SBC requirements, so we can know where to invest as well when those aren't required as much, because most of these SBCs require certain leagues, players from leagues, or players from certain nations. Like today, you had a Uruguayan requirement. I think you had an Argentinian requirement for Papu Gomez. So we have to look at a lot of things like that. But I also want to look at a few investments that we can look at just in case. Obviously, some of these 84s and 85s, they are up in price, but some of them aren't up that much. And that's a guy like Javi Martinez. If we get a La Liga SBC, player SBC that requires Spanish players, this guy's going to go up, especially if it's an 84 or higher rated SBC, because he gets links galore and he goes crazy when there's any type of Spanish requirement or Bundesliga player requirement. Javi Martinez goes through the roof because he has a fantastic ability to link to so many players, and he's not that high right now. He was higher earlier today. He was about 52, 55, 100 coins in that range, and today he wasn't really required that much, and he dropped back down to about 49. I saw him for 47 just a bit ago. So that's something that I would be very interested in looking in. And like I mentioned before, you want to look at the guys who aren't really required that day. They might still be a little bit inflated in price, but that still doesn't mean they're not investable in, just because you kind of have to loosen your standards a little bit when these SBCs are coming in and out of Ultimate Team, because one day you have a requirement for Spanish players and the next day you have a requirement for Italian players. So We had this Papu Gomez SBC. If we don't have an Italian or a Serie A requirement, those cards might go down a little bit, especially if we don't have any higher rated SBCs. Now we do have the Icon SBC that is in the store and is there for us to do, so that's going to kind of maintain the higher level of all these cards, but at some point they're going to be required extra, the cards that have good nations and good leagues. So you might see a guy like Javi Martinez go from 5K up to 8K in a flash, just because he is required and he is needed because of Spanish requirement. Or maybe a Dortmund player or a Bayern player comes in and you need a player from the Bundesliga. So that's something else to watch for as well. Watching those investments that you can make because of different requirements. And they are specific, so they are pretty specific. So if this Javi Martinez card at all, if I can maybe even snag one on bid for around 4,700 coins, I know it's a bit higher than I would normally like to pay, but with more SBCs tomorrow, he's more than likely going to be jumping up into some hype, obviously, when these SBCs do release. So I would be looking to buy a few of this card tonight, and then you can kind of make the same assumptions as we move on through FUTmas. So let's say tomorrow there aren't any Premier League players required. Maybe some of the Premier League 83s and 84s and 85s drop back down a little bit lower. They have good nations, good leagues, good links. They can go back up the next day when we get another Premier League player in the FUTmas SBCs. So that's something that I definitely want to make note of and make watch of. We'll drop a bid on Javi Martinez there for 4,700. And obviously, again, we want to talk about things. There's a lot of stuff that is dropped in this market. A lot of stuff is very cheap, but you want to be careful to only buy when things link. And that's what I'm really curious to see. Some things that are out of packs, they are low, but I want to make sure that they do link. And you know, you have a guy like Fabinho here who really got panic sold. Not the Road to the Final cards get upgraded today as well. This really isn't low, the Road to the Final card, but his gold card is low. So let's say we get a Roberto Firmino or a Gabriel Jesus or a Brazilian in the Premier League. We get an SBC for them, and it's, you know, a center mid can link to a lot of people. So whether it's like a David Luiz, whether it's a striker or a midfielder, that would be a great person to go pick up, because Fabinho gets the Brazilian link and he's Premier League. And when you're looking to link invest, again, you're going to want to look for the green links. I kind of went back and talked about link investing there for a second, but I wanted to make that clear. So don't be afraid to do these SBCs. If you've prepared, if you have the coins, this is the time of the year to be smart, but also have some fun with them. And these cards look pretty fantastic. The Torreira card was cheap, and that's why I did it. This Gomez card, it does look good, but you know, he could get an inform in the next couple of weeks. It would be an 86 rated inform, and it might have similar stats, and maybe you can buy it for around 45 to 50k instead of having to pay whatever the SBC price is for this card. Now, going on to these icons, I think Ballack right now, if we head over to FUTBin, I think Ballack costs about 1.4 million coins. I could be at 1.6, so that has gone up a little bit. But it's honestly not too terrible of a deal. You do get some decent packs, but it is a very nice card. I know a lot of people are very interested in doing it. I know a lot of people have done it. You get an ultimate pack, you get a 100k pack, and number rare, you do get two 100k packs and a 50k. So you get a 50k, and wow, you need two Team of the Week players, rare players, exactly 9. Okay, rare player, interesting. So yeah, we're just gonna have to watch that. That's gonna keep the higher rated golds up in price and keep them maintained there a little bit, but they still have room to go. And today, I think what you saw a lot of was you saw a lot of people who sold their high rated gold investments, and now they don't really have a ton of them in their club. So let's say somebody went out before FUTmas started and they bought, you know, 15 or 16 of this Ederson card for 15 to 16,000 coins. Today they went up a little bit, but a lot of those people, they can't hold their investments long enough. They want to get them out. They want to invest in something else. And as you can see, Ederson right now is dipping down to below 16k. If we get a high-rated Brazilian SBC, this Ederson card is going up like crazy. So that's just something you need to take note of. Again, usually at the nighttime, which it is right now, the nighttime when the EU is sleeping, the UK is sleeping. So right now it is probably about 2 to 3 a.m. UK time. a lot of this stuff starts to get lower because the NA is on, the NA is active, other parts of the world are active, there are packs in the store. People are opening these packs because they need coins to do some of these SBCs. They put good packs in the store, they put 50k packs out. So that's something that you have to consider. So these golds are going to be supplied, and when they drop to a buyable price, snap on them. So I'm probably going to buy a couple Edersons tonight, and I'll see if anything else gets cheap enough that I want to go in on it and buy some more. But yeah, I think the outlook for these FUTmas SBCs is phenomenal. We're gonna have to see what kind of cards they keep coming out with, and you know, we got the Royce SBC today. People weren't too happy with that. We got icons today, and this icon set actually expires here in a couple of hours, so it's gonna expire on Saturday. So the only icons we will have in here are Ballack and Sol Campbell. So I wonder if they're going to add some more of them in the next couple of days. I would imagine they do. I don't know if they'll add a set though, or if they will add individual SBCs. Again, like Ballack and Sol Campbell, I think they'll go the individual route. That's just my hunch, but we'll have to see what they do. Again, link investments, complementary goods or substitute goods, and obviously watching the gold's prices that go up and down, and take a look at informs as well if some of those get too cheap, especially ones that are out of packs. Because they're not required, they get cheap, people sell their investments. That's something to look at, and always continue to list for lazy buyers, as you see me doing here. I've got these I've got some of these listed way too high, but you never know what might sell. A lot of these informs I have listed for 10k over there by it now. I have Benatti listed at 24k, but it could easily sell. People in the day are constantly doing SBCs and they don't want it to take long, so they're willing to pay the high price. They don't do the research, they just go buy the first card they see, and sometimes you get picked as the lucky winner of a lazy buyer sale. That's one thing I wanted to mention to you guys as well. So keep listing your cards, keep looking for deals on the market, and use your thinking skills, use your best cognitive abilities when seeing these cards out tomorrow. So let's say we get, you know, maybe we get a Goretzka tomorrow. You're gonna think, okay, who links with Goretzka? Who is going to fall in price because of Goretzka? And how are people going to be investing for this Goretzka, and what is not being required right now so that I can invest in that? So make sure to think through those things. Every day that we get a FUTmas SBC, we'll probably be dropping a video about the content that comes out almost every day, because there's going to be a lot of content here for the next couple of weeks, which I'm super duper pumped about. Hopefully we'll see some flashback SBCs as well. And you know they're going to be having packs in the store to try to keep pushing supply onto the market. So if you enjoyed this video, guys, smack a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel if you're new. Comment down below if you did the Torreira SBC or if you did any of these FUTmas SBCs. And make sure you're working towards your weekly objective, Josef Martinez, because that is a sick looking card, and it's honestly not too terribly hard to get. You have a week to win 6 online single matches with an MLS squad, and so I'm 1 out of 6, and I will get there eventually. But it's been Nate, the FUT Accountant. Catch you guys later. Peace out.